Everyone, welcome back to the array blog once again. As we are in the series of the browser API, and in the last video we have discussed about the fetch API that we have successfully fetched the data from a public API using this the JSON placeholder type code.com.u/user, right? So now in this video we are going to use the async await, a cleaner way to write fetch request in using basically a cleaner way to write fetch request, right? So if you use async await, it is very clear and very you can write basically fetch request in one or two line rather than writing like this, right? So what you will do, we will just write another code here using the, and we'll comment down here. We'll say we'll say async await, right? And we will start writing our code, right? So what we'll say, we'll say async, and we can say function, can say get user, right? And then we'll write here everything, we'll try, and here we'll write h, and then this is going error, can say console dot log, and say error, and we can say error, right? Now the main thing we will write here inside the try, so we'll say constant, we can say response equals to await, you can say fetch, and then we are going to use this URL again. We copy this. So okay, yeah, this is what we do, and now you're going to say constant users equals to response, say await response dot JSON, right? And we are going to do the same thing that we have done. I'll copy this and paste it here, and for that I will comment this so that we can see that this code is still working, right? So now you see that it is very easy to write rather than writing like this, fetch, then do this, then do this, and then come here, then do the other process. So here we can finish it in a two line, and then we get it here, all the data, right? Much more readable and modern, in a modern way, right? So let's call the function. So we'll say get users, and we'll switch to the browser and we'll see what we get here. So it's a user is not defined, so we have, okay, so we can say user. Now we'll get everything. See, got the data here also, right? And it is more easy and clean way to write the fetch API. Now next thing what we're going to do, so remember the first thing that whenever you write a fetch request, whenever you write a request to the API, by default it fetch the it run under the get request, right? So now what we're going to do, we are going to write a post request, so we can send data a server to also, right? So what we're going to do, let here we will write another API that's a post request, right? And for that we are going to say fetch, and we can say spt, copy this, and we are going to say this to post, right? And yeah, and we'll say method that is going to be post, we can say, we have to say headers, right? Header will be that will be content type, and this will be a application slash JSON, right? JSON, and we are going to send a JSON to the API. So we'll say body, and inside the body we are going to write a JSON. So JSON dot stringify, and so what we're going to do, we are going to say title, and for that, after the title we'll say my post, right? This is what we are going to post, and in the body we will write welcome to blog, and we can say user ID, that is going to be 1, right? And then, so after this we are going to write have to yeah. And then we are going to write the dot then, and we can say response, and say response dot JSON, and we'll say dot then say data, and we'll say console dot log, say success is basically we'll see if we are able to successfully send the data or not, and then we'll catch the error. So error, and we are going to print that error. So say we'll say console dot log, and we'll say error, and print the error, right? So that basically this lets you create a new data entry on the server, and perfect for the form or dynamic apps, right? So this uh, yeah. So okay, so this will be a fetch, right? And have to comment this. We have to delete this, and what we will do is copy this, we'll paste it here, and we are not calling this function, so we can be now we will not able to see anything on the browser. So let's run it and see what we get. So it's a fetch is not defined, I misplaced that, so it's a right, this is the fetch, and we'll see. Okay, so it's a too many mistakes, say console, right? Now let's see into the browser. What is this console dot log? We can see, yeah. So the it's a success. We have successfully sent this request, this data to the API, and that's how the post request work. So the key thing here to remember, whenever you fetch data from the API, whenever you write a fetch code for the fetching the data from the API, by default it runs get, right? And for the posting, suppose you have to response back to server, so you have to write like this, that method you are using post, what you have to use the header, and what kind of data you are sending, and you have to send the data inside the body, and that's how you use the fetch API to get the data and send the data in a JavaScript. So in the next video we will learn about the clipboard API, how to copy and paste directly using JavaScript, which is great for button like copy to clipboard. So yeah, that's it. So if you enjoy this series, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you into the next one.